Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to To Be Determined. Today we're finally going over the Plaza section of the Rift. I know this one's taking me a while to come out with, and that's honestly because I really wasn't looking forward to it. There is a lot of dialogue and things they have to go through here, but you have to get through this to get to Vampire Slayer, which is honestly the most fun thing that's come out on Hypixel in a long time, in my opinion. So we're gonna muscle through it, and hopefully this will make your grind a little bit easier. And if it does, be sure to leave a like and sub. All right, without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so there's not really a warp that's close to the plaza. Like immediately there is one that you can get in there, but closest one is going to be the Dread Farm. So we'll just warp over there, and then we're going to make sure that we can walk over here. So to be able to enter this one, you do need to have the Mirrorverse time charm. Then we can get into the Village Plaza. It does cost 8 minutes to enter the plaza, but there is quite a bit to do here. The first thing is, of course, going to be in the community center. You walk up here, there's going to be a bunch of protesters all around here, and the de-transfigured clerk Seraphine. She'll look a little bit uglier than this, but we'll help her out with that in a quest later. But pretty much the very first thing that you're going to do here is actually go ahead and get the time charm, which is really nice. It's not locked behind anything, but you're going to walk up to the Barry HQ, talk to Barry. He's going to have a bunch of dialogue that's basically like, I can't hear out the people because I'm too busy planning for my next campaign for the next election. And you're like, all right, well, why don't you hear the people out? And he's like, that actually is a good idea. And so then you're going to walk back out here and start talking to the different NPCs. So I'm going to go over them in no particular order, just kind of the order that I went through them, which was, to be honest, completely random. So the first one we're going to talk about is Salma, who's going to be up here on this left side bench. Just talk to him and he's going to say something about his taxes. He don't know how they work. So then you go over to Barry HQ again, talk to Barry. He's going to be like, blah, 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 this is how the taxes work. And then you'll come back out to Salma, click on him, and a bunch of options are going to appear in your chat. So the first one that you're going to have to click is you are in the highest tax bracket, but the tax system is progressive. Then he'll ask how many brackets there are. There are 5. And then he'll say, what are the tax brackets? The correct answer is they go from 0 to 20K, then 40K, 70K, and finally 100K plus. Then he'll ask, what are the tax rate? The correct answer is the third answer from first to last. They're 10 up to 50%. And then he'll ask how much he will be taxed. And the correct answer is 32,000. So after you've completed that, he's going to get up and walk over into Barry HQ, and then he's going to stand right here for the rest of time. The next one is Harriet. She's going to be up here on this bench. She says, I read in the Rift Herald that Barry wants to make jumping illegal. So you go back, talk to Barry. He'll say a bunch of stuff. You come back out, talk to Harriet again, do a lot of chatting, and then the answer that you'll say is the second one. Barry said the Rift Herald is bought and paid for by the mob, and then Harriet will walk up and go back into Barry HQ. The next NPC is Violetta, who's going to be right over here, or right over here. You talk to them and say that Barry should do their homework. So you go back in, talk to Barry, come back out, and the correct answer to her math problem will be 10 years. So then Violet will go back in here, and the next one is Frankie, who is right here. He says he's lagging all the time. You go back, talk to Barry, come back, talk to Frankie, say you might be on a bad proxy. Then Frankie will leave the game, rejoin, say, oh wow, they fixed it. And then he'll go back in to Barry HQ. Next up is Creed, who will be over on this side. He'll say, why isn't Barry giving me moat? Go back in, talk to Barry, come back out, and do the third answer. Go ahead and give him 300 moat. Next up, we have Dust, who will be over here in front of Clerk Seraphine's desk. So then you go back in, talk to Barry, come back out. Correct answer will be, patience come to those who wait. Next up, Stain will be on this side. So you talk to him, go back in, talk to Barry, come back out, and say Barry said that his name is Barry, and it will be typed like this. Barry said his name is Barry. So the only difference is the A and the E, and that'll be enough. So then you can go back into Barry HQ, talk to Barry, say thanks to all your help. All the protesters have decided to help the community instead of just complaining. Here, I want you to take my favorite pen. Take his favorite pen, and then you'll take that all the way back here to the election box where you can grab SkyBlock Citizen Time Charm. But it will cost the pen plus 16 Scribe cruxes. So we've got to talk about how to get Scribe cruxes now. Scribe cruxes are from the crux mobs of the Plaza area, these little scribes. So you're basically going to walk up, smack them a few times, and they're going to fly up in the air with this laser. Now you can either turn these coal blocks into gold by looking at them, or you can do it by walking on them, and then you basically just beat them up until you get the crux. But if that laser hits you, it's going to be a little bit of downtime. So if I get hit by that laser, it's 20 whole seconds that I lose. So you don't want to get hit by it if you can help it. And you'll see you can also upgrade your crux artifact to a crux relic with 16 of these. So definitely want to do that. And you'll also be able to make exportable carrots with nearly whole carrots, volt cruxes, and scribe crux. Now, you'll also be able to, again, use 16 of the cruxes to buy the time charm from inside Berry HQ. But let's go ahead and talk about the exportable carrots. So these carrots are gotten from this section right here. You can walk up and talk to Cowboy Nick and claim a horse Zuka after he goes through a bit of dialogue. So you use this horse Zuka to basically just blow up all of this hay. Yes, it shoots exploding horses. Don't ask me about the moral or ethics of this, but basically you're going to blow up 3,000 blocks of hay, and then you can go back over to Cowboy Nick. He's going to say good job. Then after a bit of dialogue, he's going to give you a unique rabbit. So every time you talk to him, as long as you have a horse Zuka in your inventory, he's going to say something happened to your rabbit, and your rabbit will have a unique name. So mine is Mona Lisa. And basically you're going to guide Mona Lisa over towards the carrot. Now, to start with, you will have to do this by chasing it. Basically, you just walk up close to it and it's going to move towards the carrots. Once it gets to a patch, it will destroy the entire patch as long as it's not crushed by regrowing hay. You do have to keep the hay clear from it, otherwise it will get crushed. But basically, again, to start with, you will have to chase it to get it to go to the different patches. And there are a decent amount of patches here, but you only needed to get it to 2. So you can get 50 of these half-eaten carrots, and then you can go back to Cowboy Nick. But as you can see in the background here, this hay does grow back, and if it grows back on your rabbit, it will say splash, your rabbit has been squashed. So just got to be a little bit careful with that. And these guys do have their own collection. So the half-eaten carrot collection, you can make nearly whole carrot with a stack and 16 carrot. You can also make the orange chest plate, which is the upgrade of the Mirrorverse chest plate. You need 7 stacks of half-eaten carrots for that. Then there's the exportable carrots, which you can bring 3,000 of these to Carolyn in Scarleton to permanently gain 5 health and 12 farming fortune for carrots, which you'll need 2 nearly whole carrots, which is basically 1 enchanted carrot, 160 total to make 1 stack of exportable carrots. And then there's the nearly coherent fishing rod, which you can hold and your rabbit will follow you instead of running away. So that definitely makes it a bit easier. I do recommend crafting it. It is a little pricey. You need 16 nearly whole carrots, 1 piece of string from the Mirrorverse, and 3 sticks from the Mirrorverse, but it's definitely more useful if you're going for the full collect. But after you've brought Cowboy Nick 50 half-eaten carrots, you're going to have to get him 7 nearly whole carrots. After you've given him that, you will unlock your second page of the Rift storage. So you'll now have 2 pages to your Rift storage, which is very, very nice. I highly recommend doing this. But that is not all that we have to do in this cave. There is actually an Enigma soul hidden all the way at the back. You're gonna have to blow up all this section, get through everything here, and then here at the back there's going to be a house over here towards the left, and you can go ahead and click on it right there. Now I probably should have gone over this earlier, but there is an eye that you can kill right over here, the bankster behind the bank. So I do recommend, again, when you do eyes, try and do them earlier in your run so you don't run out of time while you're killing them. But that is very important to be able to teleport back here, so I do recommend it. But that is not the only Enigma soul in this section. There's actually 8 whole Enigma souls, and the next one is right over here behind the bank. You're gonna pop all of the balloons here using a Berberus blowgun, and then the anvil will fall on the chest, and you can go ahead and grab the Enigma soul there. The next one, you will have to pay a decent amount of motes to a skeleton that'll be standing right here. I think it's 15,000, 15 or 25,000, something like that, and then he will give you an Enigma soul. The next one, you'll actually have to jump into the portal that travel to your island, which is pretty different. So basically what you have to do here is break the tree, and you'll get tree-like wool on each one of these. And I think you have to break both of the trees on this island. They had to add 2 trees to the island to make it able to bridge you across the gap. Again, that's a pretty wide gap, but you're basically going to break all of these trees, get the tree-like wool, and then you can bridge across here. I'm not a speed bridger, and then jump over and grab this. Or if you have an aspect of the leech with a decent amount of mana, you don't have to go as far. But again, grab the Enigma soul. You can talk to Jerry just for fun. He says, "Thought you could escape me, did you? Silly, you can't run away from Jerry." And he basically reveals that he's the devil incarnate. Refraction was right. But then you'll walk back through the portal here, and it will take you to the real world, aka the Rift. Now, another nice little piece of info here is that you can talk to Roger here, and he'll say, "Need a travel scroll to the wizard tower? You can't activate it here. Too much magic in the air, I guess. But it's Rift transferable, so you can pay 5,000 motes to get a travel scroll to the wizard tower, which is really nice to have. I definitely recommend getting this. And yeah, just transfer that to the other side of the rift, and then you can claim it there. Next up, there is going to be a ghost that you have to follow. You can jump through the window up here on Jacobus's house, and you're going to have to click the ghost a few times, and eventually he is going to lead you all the way over there. Again, I do recommend using your aspect of the leech. If you didn't watch the last video, there is a way that you can get 4 blocks teleportation instead of 3 blocks, so be sure to go check that out if you want to figure that. But yeah, you'll end up on top of the Shin's auction house, which you do need some extra rift time to be able to enter, and you will have had to go to the Coliseum section and got the globulate time charm, which I will go over in another video, so you might have to wait on that one for a little bit. But this section is technically part of the Plaza, so I'll go ahead and tell you. It's basically Shin's auction of the Plaza. I'm trying to not walk in here because I don't want to lose 10 minutes of time. I only have 13 minutes left to do this video. But you can see there's some pretty cool items in here. The Rift Prism, the Punch Card Artifact, and the Dead Cat Food are always for sale. But this 4th item over here tends to change every single week. So we've had the Flex Helmet, we've had the Placeable Fairy Soul. I think there's another one that we've had, but that item will change every week, so it's generally the more expensive one. But the Rift Prism is very nice to have. That is some magical power you can get in the main world. Same thing for the Dead Cat Food. You can transfer that to the main world, get a uncommon or common talisman, I believe. So pretty nice. Punch Card Artifact is not rift transferable, so that's just for some rift time in here. And it allows you to punch other players for an extra 25 seconds. And I've already walked into the rift, so whatever. We'll go ahead and check it out. You can punch another player while in the rift to gain 25 rift time for yourself and for that player. So it's all right, but not worth a million motes in my opinion. But yeah, you can see these items are pretty pricey. The Rift Prism is by far the most expensive at the moment. There are only 25 available every week, so the top 25 players in the Rift tend to be the ones bidding. Next up, we can talk about some Montezuma souls. There's still some Enigma souls that we have to go over, but over here at the Florist house, you'll be able to click on this book here. It will say time travel is not the answer to life's mysteries, as every moment spent longing for the past or yearning for the future is a moment lost in the present. Click live in the moment, and you can grab Montezuma's 6th soul piece. Now Montezuma's 7th soul piece is also in this area. You can see it right over there, but you have to get through the red light green light section, which is this section right here. If you walk in during the red light section, you'll get teleported up, lose 100 seconds of time, and it's just really annoying. So only walk around whenever the lights are green, but once you're out of the section, you won't have to worry about it. But still, it has a pretty long range, so you got to be pretty careful with it. But over here, you can grab Montezuma's 7th soul piece. But I didn't really explain this too much, but I think you guys get the idea. If you move at all, like literally just looking around, it will be able to tell that you moved. So it is red light, green light from Squid Game if you've seen it. Basically, whenever the light is red, don't move. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the upgrade to the sneakers that you can get here, which is from Seymour. So you go over, talk to Seymour. He'll say, no matter what, I always stay classy. Blah, 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 blah. A bit of dialogue later, he'll offer you exceedingly comfy sneakers, which you'll need Gunther sneakers plus 50,000 motes to get, but you will need this to be able to do Vamp Slayer later on. It is a lot of motes, but it's worth it. So you can grab those there. Next up is the next Enigma soul, which you get by talking or sitting with the lonely Avaix here. So you talk to Avaix, say hi, feel free to keep me company, or whatever. And basically what you have to do is sit in a seat. So right click on the seat, and Avaix will come over and teleport to your table after a little bit, and you basically just sit up, swap to the next table, and so on. You'll have to do it for a total of 3 minutes, and then you can grab the Enigma soul. Another soul is actually over by the rabbit section here. What you'll have to do, or the easiest way to do it at least, is to not actually use your rabbit. You can actually just be moving around somebody else's rabbit. Again, you can't hit it, so you're gonna want to slide it over. If you try and use your own rabbit, it will move faster, but it will also move out from underneath the hat, so it can be a lot more frustrating. So I recommend just using somebody else's rabbit. You walk them up, sit them under the hat, and then you can grab the soul. Now there is one more soul left in this section, which you are going to want to have some larva silk for. So basically you'll place this larva silk up on this branch here, and then you can go over to the house here, place the next one on either of these blocks, and it will build across, and then you can punch the glass to go ahead and grab the Enigma soul. Next thing is the detective's case. So this will get you a sword upgrade. It is a longer quest, but it is worth it. So you're basically going to go over, talk to Detective Amag here. He'll be standing back at this furnace, and he's basically going to say there's going to be a murder here soon because of this blood that hasn't appeared yet, known as a reverse murder. Basically going to go through his dialogue and say, sure, I'll help you with discovering who did this murder. So he's going to give you this detective scanner item, so you can hold it and discover abnormalities. So there's going to be a bunch of different blocks around that you can sniff. They'll have green particles on them, and they'll give you little clues, and you're basically going to have to go around sniffing all of the different items. It will be this flower pot, this refrigerator, the window, this blood on the floor, this ring here, this picture, this picture. There will be a note up here that you can sniff. And after you've examined all the clues, you can talk to Detective Amag, and you'll say, perhaps the lover is the florist. And so then you will have to go over to the florist where we were at earlier, getting Montezuma's soul, right over here next to the hay area with the rabbits. Talk to Marcia. We go through her dialogue for a little bit. She's going to tell you to go check out the Colosseum. So you're going to have to walk all the way over to around the Colosseum, which is actually its own location. So you don't need the Colosseum rift time to be able to go here. You're basically just going to walk around and go either through the Black Lagoon or the West Village. It doesn't really matter, but just walk all the way around the Colosseum here, and you can see my location is around the Colosseum, and the NPC will be standing right here. Talk to him for a little bit, and he's going to sell you the murder weapon, which is the tactician's murder weapon, an upgraded version of the leech sword. So then you'll talk to Amag, who will be standing right over here, and he'll say we need to go visit the blacksmith. Now the blacksmith is hiding out in the red light green light section, so it's a little bit of a walk. Again, this will probably take you a couple of rift visits to be able to complete this quest, unless you start it like immediately when you get in and you have a decent amount of rift time already. But this quest is not actually required, but it is useful because at the end of it you do get this ring of broken love, which gives 80 seconds of rift time, which is really nice to have. So you don't need that sword upgrade, you can actually skip it, but the talisman is nice to have. So after you've walked through this red light green light section, you'll see the blacksmith right over here. You can talk to him for a little bit. He'll say that he saw Romero ask for 25,000 motes, which you will say, nah, I ain't doing that. He'll be like, all right, that's fair. And then you can turn around, talk to Amag for a second. He'll be right here, and he'll say we should go back to Romero's house. So we're gonna go all the way back over to Romero's house, which again is right next to Seymour's place here, close to the alchemist. And there you can use this detective scanner to scan the large painting here. Come back to Amag. He'll ask if you found anything, and then say we should go talk to Taylor. So Taylor is over here in the basement of Seymour's building, where you can talk to her, and she'll be standing right here. Juliet will be here, and Detective Amag will be here. So you can talk to Taylor, and then you can talk to Juliet. She'll say you have to go back to Romero's house. So back over again, and these doors will be blocked up with the borders that Romero put up. You'll have to talk to Detective Amag, who'll be standing right over here, and he'll basically give you the option to click in the chat to break the barricade. So we be out here breaking the fourth wall. You'll love to see it. Anyways, Romero will be right here. You'll go through all of that dialogue, which is again quite a bit. Basically be like, woe is me. Talk to Amag. It says we're almost at the end of our journey. Surprise, you're the murderer. So you will have the murder weapon, and you'll be here at the time that Romero is murdered. So apparently it makes sense that you're a murderer now. Sorry, man. So basically, you're just gonna stand right here and stab Romero repeatedly. I know. Eventually, he will die, and all the blood will gush out all over the floor. Yep. Then you talk to Amag. He'll ask you what your motive was, and you'll be like, I don't know, man. And then you can grab the Ring of Broken Love from right here, and it will sit in your inventory for the rest of the game. Now we are finally almost done with the Plaza section. There are only 2 quests left. The first one is to go help and repair Reed's boat, so we can warp back over to the Lagoon Hut and jump up here, talk to Reed, and see what our third ingredient is. So you'll need 2 stacks of half-eaten carrots to gain your 30 seconds of rift time and get closer to being able to afford the rift boat, which you will need for Vamp Slayer. Now let's go do the detransfigured Seraphine quest. So you'll go back over to the community center, and here you can talk to detransfigured Seraphine. She's basically going to say, man, I am ugly. And then you will get nauseous because she is that ugly. She'll ask you to go to the alchemist to help her fix her face. So the alchemist is again over here next to Romero's building. So you can go over here and talk to the alchemist, go through all the dialogue, and you'll have to pay her 10,000 motes, which is fun. Next up, you have to fill the cauldron up with water. So you'll need a plumber's bucket to fill it up with water, which you get from Plumber Joe right over there if you haven't bought one yet. Then you will need to gather some riftworts, which you'll use this wand of farming to gather up the nether warts around the building. They're called riftwort. You'll need a full stack of them, and they are pretty annoying to farm because you look at it, hit it once, and it will change where you are looking. So you have to keep turning around, and if you hold it down, it can get especially challenging. I am not moving my mouse. If I just sit right here, I'm not moving at all, and yeah, it gets pretty annoying. But if you leave it for too long after you've clicked it once, then it will start to regrow just like that. So you've got pretty quick with getting rid of those that you've already started on. And yeah, it is definitely the thing that makes me the most motion sick in this game ever. So it is only one stack, but do it sparingly. If you feel like you're gonna be sick, don't push it. You come back to the alchemist and give him the riftwort, and next he'll need 8 larva silk. So you're gonna have to go back to the wild woods and grab 8 larva silk, throw that into the cauldron. Then you'll need 4 caduceus extract, which is in the caduceus stem collection. You'll need 150 caduceus stem to unlock it, and then you're gonna have to get 80 of these plus 12 plumber's buckets, so 12,000 mote to buy all these buckets, and the 80 caduceus stems crafted into these caduceus extracts, and then you can throw them into the potion as well. Then you talk to the alchemist, give you a bunch of dialogue, and then you can get an anti-morph potion from the cauldron. Then take the potion all the way back over to Clerk Seraphine and throw it at her, and she will turn into this, and then she will give you her old face that fell off for an cap and 1.5k mote. So you'll be going around wearing her face now. So hopefully your enemies will become nauseous. Now the last thing before we go is you do have the horse Zuka now. So make sure that you use that. Get the Montezuma soul from the Dread Farm section. It's back here in the corner close to the Baba Yaga. You just shoot one horse right over here, and it will blow up the wall. Grab the Montezuma Soul Feast if you haven't gotten it already. But that is everything in the Plaza section. I know it is a lot, but hopefully this video helped you get through it. Let me know in the comments whether or not you want to see a Colosseum video next or a video on the Living Cave, but I'm thinking Colosseum probably next. Going over the Dante or the Bacte fight should be pretty interesting. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, remember to leave a like and sub if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.